Sunnah. But do not go toward Saudi-funded groups like we have currently. We have the Madkhalis stream, which was only formed after the Saudis fell out with the establishment which opposed the war in Iraq. And after this, in 1979, after Juhayman al-Utaybi went into al-Masjid al-Haram in Makkah al-Mukarramah with armed men, and then at a later period the Saudi government allowed the American troops to enter the northern Arabian Peninsula. They fell out with the establishment. Rabi' al-Madkhali, who was a former Ikhwani, former Ikhwan al-Muslimin, he formed an alliance with the government and was made in charge of Medina University. When he was made in charge of Medina University, the brand of Salafism, pseudo-Salafism that we have being propagated amongst English-speaking people today is from that Madkhali brand, as well as other trends like the pseudo-Ahlul Hadith movement in the Indian subcontinent. Now people who have fallen out of love with these misguided Pirs, misguided Sufi groups, innovating Sufi groups, I say to them and address them that when a man is angry with his wife, why should he take the anger out on the dishes? You are angry at these people, but do not destroy the dishes. In this case, bila tashbih, without making a similarity between the scholars and dishes, without tashbih, bila tashbih, that the ulama of the past, like Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Al-Imam Al-Nawawi rahimahullah, Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar Al-Asqalani rahimahullah, these type of scholars were not misguided innovators. So the only problem people have then is how do we access the works of these scholars? Now because the available English literature is very limited. For instance, today I went to an Arabic bookshop, the books were vast. I went to an English bookshop, an Islamic bookshop, and the books were very limited, the literature available in English. This has led people to moving away from the four Imams and going into deviated sects. I would advise those brothers, return back, follow the school of Al-Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, how Al-Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal understood the Quran and the Hadith. Go back to Al-Imam Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, how he understand the book of Allah and the Sunnah. If you believe Al-Imam Abu Hanifa was mistaken, then you have other options also. But here, the author specifically mentions Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Now, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Al-Nu'man bin Thabit, so many followers of Sufi groups today and Pirs claim to be Hanafi, but how many of them actually know the name of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa? How many of them have even heard of Al-Nu'man bin Thabit? The name Al-Nu'man bin Thabit. You will be surprised many of them have not. Every year they conduct gatherings where they hold anniversaries to remember a particular saint in their lineage, in their line of saints. But how many of them conduct gatherings in remembrance of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, or teach the people the teachings of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah? How many of them are familiar with the scholars of Hadith in our community? We will be surprised that many of them are ignorant of Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Now the author mentioned, and many of them are even ignorant of Al-Imam AT-TAHAWI, because so many people ask me, who is AT-TAHAWI? What is AT-TAHAWI? But they are familiar with things which are not from the essentials of religion. Of course, knowing Al-Imam AT-TAHAWI is not from the essentials of religion, but knowing the teachings of Al-Imam AT-TAHAWI rahimahullah is from the essentials of religion. What did he teach? The same with Al-Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah.